Outer Orange.
Welcome back, previous to OuterOrange here. Today we have the results for Cardfight Vanguard for the last weekend. It's actually quite a bit. I didn't realize Puerto Rico happened as well. And so we're going to start off with Melbourne, the Tri format, Ange Prism, and Shiranui. Again, Shiranui just proving how strong it is in premium. Very, very good deck. Honestly, as you can tell, it's been topping out a lot. There are other good decks there as well too, so it's just kind of like whatever deck you want to take, to be honest. But overall, all three very good decks. I am very happy to see Ange in first place. I believe this is Alex's team, if I remember correctly. Ange is still a really good pick. Her issue is that if she low rolls into Gurgit, it's kind of rough, but otherwise the deck is actually very, very strong. Obviously with the ride fixer, it's got better, so overall just a really good pick too if you just don't want to play Gurgit. She's definitely more consistent over Gurgit being more high roll, so definitely another good choice as well in my opinion. And obviously Prism, I am interested to see how Prism performs. I've been struggling under Prism. There's some games where I feel like I just can't win under. And there are other games where I feel invincible, and it's a very weird coin flip sometimes. And then obviously Shiranui with premium Nubatama just being Nubatama. That deck's pretty obnoxious to fight, so yeah. In the second place we had Gurgit, Youthberg, and NOK. NOK is actually really good, especially if you go with the gas steel engine. It's actually pretty hard to play around, so for the most part, especially if you go second into it. Going first it's a little easier, but going second it's pretty rough. So this deck turns off just so much. But Youthberg, obviously, I've been saying this for a while, but Youthberg has been a good pick this entire time. Some people really don't think the deck's that good. I actually think the deck's really good. I think the issue is that it has like one plan, and it kind of has to stick to that one plan, and it doesn't really have any other things that it does in the current form of it. Its older form had a little bit more of like segue into what it wanted to do, but now it's just do the thing and keep doing the said thing and hope that you beat your opponent in fast enough. But what it does is pretty good. The numbers get high, your opponent can't block very well. If they're not hitting triggers, they're probably going to lose, and it is pretty rough on their end as well. So, and then Gurgit being Gurgit, Gurgit is one of the best decks in the format for V, so might as well take it. Thavas, Shiranui, and Shiranui. So another Shiranui built deck with Thavas. Thavas is also still a good pick for V Premium. It's always been a good pick, and actually we are getting the V Premium Pros that are coming out. You can run that. I don't know how good it is in Thavas. The card itself is good. The issue is Thavas needs to also play the game, and I don't know if they have the time to slot in that new grade 1 that came out, but that new grade 1 is really good, so something kind of keep in mind. But Thavas is still a good choice. It still does its thing, still retires, still gets Excel marker, still is Pursue Soul, all that kind of fun stuff. So Shiranui and D. Shiranui still doing well though. In this specific one that we're seeing, there's a little less Shiranui, which is interesting. I really like that. Also because it's tri format, you can kind of pick like what the one deck you want to play, because you know you're going to be facing specific decks. Obviously if you pick Prism, you have a better chance of dealing with certain stuff because you can just fight Shiranui a little bit better while also having a better overall matchup into most other decks. That's also really good. That's why we're seeing a bit more Prism, I feel like. And then in P we have Shiranui again. Nothing new there. And then fourth place, this one's a little bit more weird. We do have the Neo Nectar Dragon. This is the dragon that calls over tokens and has all this funky stuff. It's pretty good. Doesn't really have like a win con, but we'll check out the list actually here in a little bit. I used to play it and then I stopped. Prism in the D slot, and then we have Revengers in the last slot. Revengers also is a pretty good pick. I would say it kind of has struggles into bugs, but the deck itself isn't bad. It's basically just different Overlord or a different form of V Revere without the errata, so it just kind of does this thing. Let's go ahead. I want to take a look at this 4-2. I want to take a look at this V deck real quick. The reason being is because, like I said, it's a little bit of a different pick than what people normally choose. This one's not running both the dragons, so a lot of the lists that I've seen run both of the dragons. There's actually 2 of them, and this is one of them, and then some people run the other one. This one's also running Peony, which is also interesting because she's a really good side factor. She's basically different Katrina. She's like weaker Katrina is the best way to put it. So she's also pretty good. She gets a lot of power. This deck is pretty rush oriented. It just kind of slams your face in, and that's also really good. Otherwise, you just keep going tokens. I haven't seen this card in a while. Holy crap. You can increase. Okay, that's fair. That's a good boy. But I forgot about this card. Isn't this one of the newer cards that came out that like nobody wanted to play? Because when this unit is placed on Vanguard Vigor, so can cast one discard card from hand, call it 2 plant tokens, then choose one of your other units, search your deck for 1 card with the same card that you reveal to your hand. And when it attacks, you can soul +1, choose one of your units, and all of your units with the same card name get +5k until turn. If this is on Vanguard, so we got 10k. So basically just another beefer. A big beefer, and you get to unbreak yourself if you're trying to look for certain conditions and all that kind of stuff. I will say, I guess your target would probably be the dragon, or probably when you're searching, because the issue with the ride line is very focused on what the ride line wants to do, so you have to just basically search for other pieces. But overall really cool. I like it. I like the deck. I'm glad to see it. Oh yeah, the promo is really good, by the way. Promo basically extends attacks, and you definitely want that, so you can multi-attack under certain conditions, and the promo is really good. It's part of the reason why Katrina is also really good, because the promo also works in Katrina really well. And yeah, Peony is a good card, surprisingly enough. People really underestimate Peony. Yeah, her issue is that she's a little slow, but she's good. She has a good deck. Let's move along to standards. So this is what standards looking like. So we have first place Shiranui Prism Leonore. Pretty good, pretty understandable. This is just like another lineup of Shiranui Prism, and you can play something else. In second place we had the Leohan. I actually really value Leohan. I think the deck's kind of nuts. I actually just got all my cards like literally yesterday. And I'm just like, man, like this deck just slaps. Like on a Persona, having 5 drive checks is insane. The fact that you can reuse like your triggers because they go to the bottom to then see them again and shuffle is insane to me. So I just low-key think the deck's good. I also think it's funny that these people just literally just went all counter. I think it's hilarious. I love it so much because we have Youthberg and Bastion in the other slots. By the way, all 3 really good decks. I don't know how impactful Leohan is in terms of the meta, but I will say Leohan as a deck is good. If you're running, I mean, we're gonna actually take a look at the Leohan deck. I'm assuming they're running the order package where they're running the grade 2 and they're running the 1, or they're running the cyclers, but they're definitely running the main package, which is the horse, the order card, and then the Leohan himself. There's a period where I was trying out the Blasted Dark ride line, and then I realized that you can't play the Blasted Dark ride line because the grade 1 actually asks for Leohan as your Vanguard, and it's a grade 1, or grade 1 order, so there's really no reason not to run the Leohan engine. I will say that Leohan ride line itself is not the greatest thing in the world, but it can grab you other cards to hand. Like it can unbrick you basically because it puts cards to hand, which is really cool. But yeah, and then we have Youthberg and Bastion. So I kind of overlooked these 2 real quick just because the Leohan is getting me excited. I just think the deck is super cool. It also plays like a Vanguard 0 deck because you like use a triple drive and then you bomb deck them all. I just think that's really fun. But yeah, so that's Leohan, and then this is this team, and next we have the Team Luxac. So this is Shiranui, Mushiking, and Bastion. Again, Bastion also being a really good choice, but I'm going to talk about Bastion too much here. I think Bastion's a great pick. It has a really good finisher, plays really well into Prism usually, and then Mushiking just is the aggro of it is just really aggressive. If you open well and just kind of get a little lucky, this deck's like actually insane. I will say, I think with 50 cards for the time being, it got a little bumped down just because you have less chances to hit with your order effects. But once we get the energy blast going, energy stuff going, I think this deck will be back in its light as long as other stuff don't power creep. Now, obviously, Shiranui, like nothing new there. And then fourth place we have Shiranui, Java, and Luard. Also, you know, really good choices. The Java is a little more out there, but it's still a good deck. So let's go take a look at the Leohan deck real quick. I've really been brewing him a lot recently, so I'm really happy to see like someone actually take him and win. So here's the deck. They are running the order engine. They're also running the Painkiller Angel, which is actually very interesting just to draw extra cards. I can understand that. I really vibe with this. This card, the Enculate Angel, is actually really good in Leohan. Like surprisingly really good. Because you Soul Blast out the cards that you then want to see again. Because you put basically this guy and this guy back into you shove them in a lot into your soul, so they get kind of stuck there. So cards like this card and this card help you get them out, and then you basically use the order to get them back to deck, and use this to get them back to deck ideally. My only issue for me personally is I can't afford these girls. So I'm just like really stuck right now. I have the deck, but I just don't have this card. And it really sucks because this card's really good because she gets power too. Then we have the horse. Horse is just insane. The craziest part about this deck, what I think is just wild. This card is searchable. The horse is searchable. Just to Soul Blast, find the horse. That's insane. You will never whiff your condition because as long as you can Soul Blast and find the horse, then you'll basically always be sending the horse back and you'll just always have your condition. It is like so hard to whiff this condition. The only thing you can whiff that I think is easier to whiff is actually Persona. Because the only thing that sucks about this card is that you need to be on Persona for the extra drive. But to be honest with you, outside of that, it's still 4 drive checks a turn. Like that's pretty wild. If you get 3 drive checks, that's even extra wild. Also, the owl is a really good tech. I've been running the owl as well. There's Spade. This is tri-format, and then we're gonna go into standard, but there's gonna be a different graphic for standard. So this is Spain, Tri-Rex. We got Anjin first again. Wow, that's crazy. That's really good to see. Then we have Shiranui for D, and then Night Rose for P. Night Rose is still an insane deck, so obviously a very good pick. Second place we have Night Rose V, and then we have Prism D, and then we have Katrina and Premium. And Katrina also still insane and really strong. And then in third place we have Jewel Knights for V. Jewel Knights is still really good. You can't counterplay against it. You just have to hope that you have enough shield to deal with this, so it can be very obnoxious. And then D, Shiranui, and then we have Reindeer, a Highlander in Premium. Highlander is also insane as we've seen. And then last but not least, we also have Anj in V, and then we have Greedon for D, and then we have Nova Grapplers for Premium. Also a really good deck. Also a really good choices. Honestly, everything picked here was really good. Not a single person was coping, because even Greedon loses to Shiranui if they're at 6, yeah. But Greedon as a deck is still really good. Like, it's still been a really good deck, just the way I feel like Drew Jewel has been a really good deck this whole time. It's just, it's a little more risky to take certain decks because of Sank, or in this situation, the Greedon can lose to itself, basically. This is Spain, but however, there's a different graphics. Let me grab the upgraded graphics. So here's the upgraded graphics. This is Spain. So in first place, we have Jet, which is actually interesting to see Jet. It's been a while since we've seen Jet. I think Jet's been good this whole time. People just haven't been playing him because their Shiranui is an option. Zorga, and then we have Shiranui. This, I believe, is... I'm pretty sure this is Wolford in the middle. He always plays Zorga. He plays a very consistent build. No weird text, no weird nothing. Just straight Zorga. Just Zorga gaming. And obviously, it's been doing really well for him. I'm always into consistency. And he definitely values consistency too. And that's all he's basically been doing with Zorga this entire time. It's really been in his favor because this is not the first time he's done really well with Zorga. He's done really well with Zorga for a while now. It's also like the only deck or the main deck he plays as far as I know. So yeah, he is like he's got the Zorga sauce. He is Zorga gaming all the time. But also really good stuff. The second place we have another Keter heavy, but we got Bastion, Lillard, and Shiranui. Again, just all really good picks. We talked about them a little bit earlier. Prison, Luard, and Shiranui, probably my favorite team lineups. This is the team lineup that I went into with my team. Just really strong, can't really go wrong. They're all just really good choices, right? And then fourth place we have Fennel, Leonor, and Kyrie. Kyrie is also actually a really good pick. She just can be a little bit of a coin flip. Going second, she's actually really good. So if you're worried about Shiranui, she performs pretty decent to Shiranui. The issue is late game, she gets kind of a little stuck. You kind of, if you high roll, the deck's like insane. But once you start low rolling, the deck gets mid. And then when you start drawing triggers, you really get stuck. Also, Fennel's been really good. I definitely think this deck's like very underrated. I think it's a very, very good pick right now. So there's a couple of different approaches to Fennel that you can go, and yeah, this is definitely like a more basic. So I value the 16 trigger, the 16 order approach. I think it's probably the best approach, to be honest. But also, I think heading back like 2 and adding some tech cards isn't bad either. But yeah, this is actually a very standard list. They actually went extremely like to the standard. I do like the fact that they're running the red OT. They just said screw it, I'm just gonna go balls deep, which is valid because the restanding rear, whatever restanding is restanding for a lot of damage ideally. So this gets really disgusting because it's like something will be swinging for 53 with a crit on it. Well, now it's swinging for 53 again with a crit on it. It's basically like Zorga game. It's really great. But overall, yeah, this is running the, I do like the Chalice. The Chalice does come up, by the way, in this deck like quite a bit. They're not running Ura, which is interesting. I'm kind of on that boat too. I don't know what it is about Ura. I like really like her and really hate her. I just can't win because my Ura right now is in this slot and I just can't tell if I even want Ura in there or not. It's been really a struggle because Ura is a good card, but the issue is sometimes you just feel like you can't get her, like, I don't know, it's just weird. Like sometimes she just doesn't work. In this deck particular, you're obviously looking for the Sank. You don't really care about picking up the orders. Maybe sometimes you'll care about picking up a ladder if you're running ladder instead, if you run the Ura. But otherwise, this deck is really good. I really like this deck personally. It's very to the point. It just deck downs a crap ton and then just beats your skull in with crits on it. And they definitely went order Kyrie, or they went a little bit of order Kyrie. So they're running the Ballista package, which makes sense to me. And then they're running this to help to kind of get the soul going, because this deck does soul blast quite a lot, especially if you're running the Stegraph. Or Yasmin is an insane addition. Now, like I said, if you're going second into Stridex, you're having a party. Putting this to 2 is perfectly fine now. Forbidal makes complete sense. Forbidal finds you it. This will find you it, and also the Yasmin will find you the card, and it's not just specifically from like it's from like deck, soul, drop. You have so many ways to access the Grade 4 Kyrie that you don't need to run it at 4, which is, by the way, the best part about now current Kyrie is that you don't have to run 4 copies of this card anymore, and you don't have to mulligan for it anymore. Thank God. Yuka's a really good addition. Eileen's a good addition. Reese is really good as well. There's definitely a lot of options. You can go so many approaches to the deck. The restand's nuts. This card's also really good. Sometimes she could be a little weird, but she is a good search target, which is kind of what you want. Ideally, you want to search this out mandatorily with the Forbidal, and then you want to grab one of these if you're whipping the Yasmin, or if you don't find Yasmin in time. But also, you can just search out one copy of this, one copy of this, and you have big beefy dudes. And also, you get to bounce cards back to hand with Soul Blast, which is also really, really nice. And then you could also pop off her with Yuiko, which is also really good. And then you also have the Restander coming as well. Eileen also is like really nuts if you're restanding the same column over and over again. And then obviously the Stegra just goes crazy because you're deck thinning, and then also getting just a lot of value from this card. So overall, like I said, this deck is really good. Puerto Rico. So here we have Puerto Rico. So this is tri-format. We had Thavas. That's very interesting. That was for V, and then we had D Shiranui, and we had Deleters for premium. Deleters is good. It's a little brutal, but it is good. And then second place we had Gurgit, Shiranui for D, and then get Bugs for premium. Of course, just Bugs being Bugs. And then third place we had Gurgit, and then we had Leohan, and then we had Harry for premium. Harry is also still a really good pick. It's a little bit harder to go wild with it, but it's still good because stage is still stage. It's still just a good option depending on how you go. I don't know if they want the old Harry, the new Harry. It looks like they want the new Harry. And then we had another Leohan. Let's go Leohan, the Leohan crew. Let's go. I like Leohan, but overall all makes sense to me so far. And then fourth place we have that's really funny. We had Narukami in V, which is, by the way, fun enough, it does counter Gurgit if you the armor break dragon on them. And then I don't know if they ran the armor break, but and then we have Shiranui for D, and then Dinosaur, Tachi, whatever stuff going on here in premium. I don't know the Tachi stuff for too much. I'm currently blocking it, but this is the Hitachi's back here. But anyway, overall a little bit weirder of a choices in comparison to what we saw a little bit earlier, but they all make sense. I noticed that when I went to Puerto Rico, their V was pretty sweaty. Like they were all playing like really good V decks. Premium I didn't play, and I played D, and the D stuff, it was there's a lot of Flagler players in D when I was over there. But still, like they clearly went the Shiranui route. They're like, all right, Shiranui's kind of busted, so we're gonna play Shiranui. Understood. And then here we have, this is standard. So standard, wow, this is wild. Seeing Pacifica is actually insane. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. So first place we have Prism, Shiranui, Luard. Again, just can't go wrong with this lineup. It's just a good lineup. It's not like, you know, too broken or anything like that, but it is a good lineup to go into. Second, we have Kyrie, Prism, Kyrie, Pacifica, and Prism. We'll definitely take a look at the Pacifica list here in a second. 3 really good lyrical decks. I don't know about the Pacifica though. Pacifica is a little weird to me, because this deck has it struggles a little bit. It's not bad. It's not bad, but these two are stronger out of the 3. Third place, we have another Leohan, by the way, another Keter group. Leohan, Luard, and Youthberg. Keter is really shining this year. That's something I just want to make clear. Like Keter is just on fire this year. And then fourth place we have Magnolia, Shiranui, and Heroes. The Heroes, the deck right here, it's covered. You can see the deck log. Heroes is actually pretty good. It's been a deck that's been on my radar from basically since it's come out, and I've had the cards, I just haven't really played them because I was too focused on Orphist. But I've always valued Heroes as a deck just because I've always thought the deck thinning was insane, and I kept saying that if they ever get a chance to turbo into the 3 orders, this deck will get really good. And it did. I'm pretty sure it was also doing well at Worlds. I wasn't casting D, so I wasn't too focused on D at the time. But I've always thought, I just think deck thinning 3 cards is insane, especially if they can do it like 3 times. That's 9 cards out of deck. You're basically always hitting triggers. When I was even testing this deck, I was like, I just keep hitting triggers. Sometimes I don't even want to hit triggers because I want to see normal units, but I keep hitting triggers because all my normal units are somewhere else, you know? But overall, really good stuff. I do want to take a look at the Pacifica list, just because we haven't seen Pacifica at all. Pacifica is a very underground and a very low-key deck, and I am curious to see what they went with here, because Pacifica is extremely toolbox. So because she's so toolbox, you can build her whatever way you want. It doesn't matter because that's just how the deck is. So here's Pacifica. Looks like they opted for the order approach. They went order, they went Welshbond, and then they went just for the Pacifica engine of just constantly finding Pacificas and just resending it back. Also, this card's insane, just bouncing anything back for a discard. This deck draws so much that this isn't even a minus if you have to discard for this. It doesn't feel like a minus because this deck draws a ton. You will have a fat hand under this deck. Also, they're running this card, which I think is very interesting. This is the card that actually gets you back the pretty Demon Court card. So this will just keep getting it back for you. If you play normal order, she also gets 5k power, but then on place you can search your deck or drop her one of these and reveal and add to hand. So basically you can keep spamming cards over and over again, which is what you want to do. Also keeps your board empty, which is also really good. And also the stagger in this deck is really nuts. You get to draw while also gaining power, also gaining board. And then we have the search, where you get to search for Pacifica cards to kind of keep the engine going. We also have the other Pacifica helper. She says you can retire her at the end of battle if she boosted, choose 2 Pacifica cards in the card name, return to the deck, and then shuffle. So basically if you chose 2, you countercharge. So that's also really good because you can countercharge off of her. I will say the only thing that I'm sad that I'm not seeing here, there's a grade 2 that says when your back row unit attacks, you can bounce herself back to hand. That card's just nuts, by the way. It also has an insane amount of shield. I am surprised that card's not in there, but I understand why. They definitely went for a different game plan. Like everything's basically at 4 except this card. So they definitely kept like a consistent game plan. Also, they're running the Ingrid, which is also really good. She restands herself, so that's all. She restands the booster with her. That's also really good. And she also counter charges when she's not placed from deck. So again, more counter charge that you can use to abuse cards like this, abuse cards like this, abuse cards like this. You know, abuse the Welshbond as well to gain massive power. Pacifica also by herself just does Carabas 1, put a card from hand to bottom deck and draw 2 cards, which is insane, by the way, because you can bottom deck triggers and then keep drawing better cards and bottom deck triggers and draw better cards. Non-attacks, you also Carabas Sobas, the Pacifica cards, and then call a normal unit from your deck to open the rearguard circle. Keep in mind, you can also call perfect guards and then, you know, just bounce it back with cards like Uica. So just really funny stuff that you can do. Really good pick. I liked it. I like the build. I think the build is very standard, very to the point, and does exactly what you want to do. And like I said, the Stegra, the grade 2 order combo is just so strong right now. Every deck is running these cards because they're so good. It's crazy to think that there was a point where these cards were less good, or that people thought they might not be as good, because these cards are just absolutely insane. Like, and they're just getting better and better with each set that we're getting. Like, it's crazy how strong these cards are, and they're so generic too. Like, it's actually just wild. Here's all the results. I did talk for quite a bit for this one because we had a lot to go over. We saw a bunch of really good decks, a bunch of really good tops from really good people. If you've been on Twitter, you actually can see all the people that have been winning all the results, and there are some familiar faces. So it's nice to see familiar faces of people that have already been topping. It's just seeing them top again. So the consistency rate, you know, it's just really nice to see. By the way, congrats to everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. 50cards.shop, code orange for any of your goodies or any of the stuff you may need. I'm going to head out now. So hope you guys enjoy that. Peace out. Das Vidania. I'll see you guys in a future video. Bye.